Namaskar, friends. Welcome to the Discourse number 84. In this discourse, we are going to examine how to recover pure intelligence, the state of pure intelligence. This is not to be confused with intellect or mind. The function of intellect is to examine the phenomena by applying the principles of reasoning and logic. Thereby, we arrive at conclusive knowledge. So therefore, the state of pure intelligence should not be mistaken for intellect. Then what is it? What is the state of pure intelligence? How it is different from intellect, that is Buddhi, ego, that is Ahankara, mind, that is Manas. So in this discourse, the speaker is going to introduce this state of pure intelligence and how to recover it. When we move and walk, we come across innumerable objects and things in nature. We ignore them. We do not pay any serious attention. We do not stop and watch, because we think that it is a waste of time, and we have so many commitments in the mundane world, and therefore we may not pay enough attention to these objects and things in nature. Whereas if we walk slowly and pause, walk slowly and pause, watching every phenomenon in nature, you will be able to appreciate the beauty of things and objects in nature. We can bring out that sense of feeling that is inside us. That is simply watching without any interpretation, watching without any deep study, watching without questioning, watching without arriving at a kind of conclusion, watching without passing any judgment on such objects and things. In that state of watching, we experience the sense of feeling. And this sense of feeling is totally different from the state of intellect, whose function is to investigate, question, and arrive at a conclusive knowledge. But in this kind of watching, without any interpretation, without passing any value judgment, without questioning, without arriving at any conclusive knowledge, there is a sense of feeling. That feeling is pure. That feeling is untainted. That feeling is a sense of innocence. That feeling is devoid of all knowledge. It is a state of ignorance. It is a state of innocence. And that state of feeling is what is known as intelligence. When we walk, move rapidly, we miss out on many things. We miss the element of beauty in nature. Albert Einstein once said, "He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, AWE, is as good as dead. His eyes are completely closed." This is what Albert Einstein, the greatest scientist of the 20th century, said. The thoughts are even faster than physical movement. When the mind is moving rapidly from one object to another, one subject to another, one venture to another, what you miss is the blooming of that flower, the flower that is inside us, and that is called feeling, and that is the state of pure intelligence. We miss that. You're not merely missing out the outward beauty, the existence of a beautiful nature around you, but also the inward sensitive heart to appreciate. What is that? it is pure intelligence. As long as the mind is present, you miss it. The aim of yoga is to recover that state of pure intelligence by sublimating thoughts. It does not lie in the physical mind, but in the field or fabric of the subtle body. This can be reached when ego, which is your identity, intellect, which generates knowledge, and sense organs of the body, the outermost layer, are completely transcended. Let's examine this a little elaborately. We have three bodies: the causal body, the subtle body, and the physical body. The causal is called Karana Sarira. The subtle body is Sukshma Sarira. The physical body is Bhautika Sarira. The causal body, that is Karana Sarira, does not evolve. It is immutable, unchangeable. The physical body cannot change much. Its structure is fixed. Although some minor changes can take place in weight, in posture and fitness, and so on. We cannot grow extra arms. We cannot have extra legs. We cannot have wings to fly, or a tail in this lifetime. This is physical body. Then there is a subtle body. And this subtle body can evolve so that pure intelligence can be recovered. It changes according to how we purify and simplify it, so that the pure intelligence shines and radiates from within, and not through this process. And through this process, we find the evolution of consciousness. And this can happen only in this body called subtle body. We have learnt the causal body is immutable. The physical body is fixed. It cannot undergo any change. But subtle body, the subtle body is a vibrational field. It, it is the heart-mind field. Depending on how we manage this field, this heart-mind field, it can either be turbulent and complex, like a roaring ocean during a storm, or at the other extreme, it can be like a still pond where even a small leaf on the surface of the water can create ripples. So there are two states of mind. One is the rippled state of mind. The second is unrippled state of mind. One is the roaring mind. The other is a still mind. The roaring mind is highly disturbed mind. The still mind is uncaused by any disturbances. We must reach this second state of mind, that is still mind. Only when we attain this still mind, we may fail to recover the state of pure intelligence. We can never touch that state. We can never experience that state of pure intelligence. As long as mind is disturbed, as long as mind is roaring like an ocean during storm, invariably our mind is like this, and we can never experience, we can never gain or attain that state of pure intelligence. We can never experience that state of feeling. We can never see that flower blooming within us. This is where the spiritual practice has a vital role to play, as it gives us the techniques to regulate, purify, and simplify this field, bringing clarity, stillness, and peace. The subtle body has 4 functional elements within this vibrational field. The one is consciousness, that is chit, that is the state of pure intelligence. The second one is the perceptive, the receptive mind, that is manas. It can be called both receptive, perceptive and receptive. Then we have intellect, that is Buddhi, the reasoning sphere, the questioning element of the subtle mind. And ego, that is Ahankara. These are the 4 elements of the subtle body. They work in an interactive way together to make up what we call the mind. Of these 4 elements, consciousness, that is the state of pure intelligence, is the center of our focus here. And this is what this discourse is meant for. The discourse says how to recover this state of pure intelligence, that is this state of consciousness. And this state of consciousness is like the hub of a wheel or an axis of the earth or the equator that has a greater gravitational pull, and it is known as pure intelligence. The other trees have their existence in consciousness, and they can be transformed. Consciousness is as good as canvas to an artist. It cannot be changed. The canvas remains as it is, but the painter can give different strokes on it. He can create innumerable images on this canvas. It's like a whiteboard. You can write and erase it. You can rewrite and erase it. But the board remains as it is. The whiteboard remains as it is. And this whiteboard, this white canvas is the state of pure intelligence, the state of consciousness. And it cannot be changed. And within this field of consciousness, right, the play of the other three bodies is orchestrated daily. These three elements, namely Manas, Buddhi and Ahankara, operate within this field of consciousness. Now, our consciousness has to expand, has to evolve. Right now it is submerged by these three elements, namely Manas, Buddhi and Ahankara. So the consciousness which is submerged by these three elements has to be recovered. And here we need to understand how a spiritual practice contributes towards this evolution by creating the conditions for stilling the mind progressively at deeper and deeper levels and opening up the inner universe. And this is known as yoga. The evolution of consciousness is nothing to do with the acquisition of knowledge. The evolution of consciousness, the recovering of this state of consciousness, this state of pure intelligence, is nothing to do with the manas, that is the mind, the receptive and perceptive mind. The evolution of consciousness is nothing to do with our Ahankara, ego. But these three elements are superimposed on this state of consciousness, and therefore it is completely submerged. Therefore we are not able to feel it, we are not able to experience it, we are not able to sense it. So therefore, these three elements need to be transcended in order to experience that state. And this is what is known as yoga. But we cannot experience that state without the help of Buddhi, Manas, and Ahankara. This is the paradox in yoga. We need Buddhi because we want to question. It's only by questioning we can reach that state. But when we are at the doorsteps of the state of consciousness, the questioning drops on its own, like the fruit that is over-ripened and drops on its own. But we need that state of Buddhi. We need to have that discriminatory power. We need to discriminate what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is moral, what is immoral, what is honest, what is dishonest. We need that Buddhi. And you see how vital it is, which helps us reach that state. We cannot deny the existence of Buddhi. We need it. As long as it helps us reach that state, till then we need that. Once we reach the doorsteps of that state of consciousness, the intellect becomes helpless to penetrate into it. And that is the limitation of Buddhi. How we become helpless and the intellect drops. And once the intellect drops without volition, we slip into that state of consciousness. This is what exactly happens in the practice of yoga. Namaskar.